Hello and welcome to Threat X3 Productions, and today we're going to be reviewing Deep Rock Galactic, which, let's just be honest, sounds like a really naughty film starring Thing and Galactus. I eat worlds, but I'd rather spend time with you. It's clobbering time. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the video game and not the made-up fan fiction Deep Rock Galactic. Now, your first question might be, wait, why are you reviewing a game that's like 20 years old?
Adjusted for the time inflation of pandemic.
Well, dear viewers, it's probably the same reason, I suspect, that you're viewing this, and that is it's finally coming out to the PlayStation. And as you know, a game doesn't really exist until it comes out on the PlayStation. Tell me if this conversation has ever happened to you. Hey, have you heard about this really fun game called Insert Game Name Here? Oh yeah, you mean the one that has Insert Game Feature Here? Yeah, that seems like a really fun time. Is it out? Yeah, I've been playing it on PC for wait. Is it out on consoles? Why, yes, it's out on the Xbox. Oh well, I can't wait to play it on the PlayStation. And scene. If this exact scenario has not happened to you, you need to turn in your PlayStation credit card because you just don't deserve it. Okay, let's get serious. I actually have played the game on my laptop, but only for 10 hours and very sporadic. I'm just a sucker for sitting on my couch and playing with what I'm familiar with. So playing this on my laptop, which granted it could handle it at ultra settings, and playing it with either on my lap or set up on a desk is just too much effort. I mean, having to have a surface to play the thing that I'm playing my game on just doesn't appeal to me, and I'm a lazy boy and I crave the embrace of my couch. So this review is not about the game that came out on other devices, but how it is now on the PlayStation. I will bring up things that if I feel it's necessary, but these will be just observations that I've noticed from when I played it on the PC from when I'm playing it now. I won't cover every patch note, so take that with a grain of salt. So let's start off with visuals. Let's get the technical stuff out of the way so I can start praising it. I spent some time nose to the screen and nose to my laptop screen, and while I am no Digital Foundries and I don't do FPSs or anything like that, I have personally assessed that the version running on the PlayStation 5 version seems to be running at ultra settings, or at least something equivalent to ultra settings on the PC. Granted, I am playing on a 4K TV versus a 1080p laptop, so that definitely needs to be taken into account, but even still, it does look a little bit better on the PlayStation 5, at least according to my laptop. Here are all the settings that I have on my PC, so you can see exactly what I'm doing wrong or right or anything like that. Now, once again, I'm no Digital Foundries, so go to them if you want a direct graphics comparison or anything like that, or if you want, frame rates or screen tearing, all that kind of stuff. This is just what I viewed with my own dumb eyes. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the visuals. The visuals use this sort of low poly look, which seems to be quite popular recently in a lot of games. Games like Valheim, a great game that I can't wait for to come out on the PlayStation, and even some games that are coming out later, like Diplomacy is Not an Option. And I think that this particular graphic and art style really works great for the type of game it is. Many would say that this is Minecraft meets yada yada, and that's true, with having the ability to dig in almost any direction almost endlessly, or explosions taking out large chunks of the terrain, and etc. etc. So visually, this style just fits the terrain manipulation that you can do. The characters are full of life and personality, and they don't seem to lose any detail even if they are a low poly look. Enemies are equally as great, with swarms of insectoids flooding your screen, harkening back to that one friend that purposely hit the car alarm in Left 4 Dead just to see a horde. Yeah, you know who you are, Carl. I only have half health and we haven't seen an ammo dump in a while. Okay, I was Carl. But one aspect of the visuals that take first prize is the lighting effects. You see, you are in a very deep, dark cave, and aside from the bioluminescent algae, you have pretty much zero light source other than your trusty torch, which that's a flashlight for all you normies, or your flares. And the way that the lights and the shadows work in this game is truly an achievement to highlight. There's also equipment on one of the dwarves that you shoot out a light source and it can stick to anything. So it's great to shoot this at the roof so that the light beams down rather than try to have the light coming up from the dirt. This great lighting effect can be doubly effective when you hear that there's a horde approaching and you're in a big room with a very tall roof. So you throw down a few flares in every direction so that you can try to see as much as you can, but that roof is still just too tall to be fully lit. The insectoids start swarming down, crawling all along the walls and down some pillars. They are merging out of the darkness, setting the mood perfectly for the task at hand. Next, let's talk about sound. The guns sound boomy. Explosions are ear-piercing in all the right ways. The dwarves are hilariously voiced and bring the typical gold-hungry dwarves and dark humor you'd expect from their mythical counterparts. The greatest part about the sound design is twofold. First is the ambiance. They 100% nail the feeling of being somewhere deep underground. The way the air can completely be devoid of sound. Every move that you make bellows out into the emptiness. The way you can hear something in the background and it'll have this creepy amount of reverb, but not too much to break your tactical awareness. Since we're on that subject, let's talk about how hearing something and knowing if it's a threat, if it's close, and in what direction. You could easily call this Minecraft meets Left 4 Dead in space. So having dynamic sound design is a great tool at your disposal to keep you informed of what's going on all around you. Is that the sound of a couple of rocks just kind of falling onto the ground, or the scuttering of spider legs? Great sound design makes you know exactly, without the shadow of a doubt, which one of those it is. All right, so to the part that makes this a game, the gameplay, duh.
Find it! Time to restock! Grabbing ammo.
This game is Minecraft with elements of Left 4 Dead mixed up with a little bit of roguelite with a dash of mythology. Let's break that down piece by piece. Mythology is obviously because of the dwarves, at least in the bearded mine-digging variety and not the politically incorrect way to say little person. Minecraft, because as stated before, you can dig and explode your way through all the terrain, but also because you can harvest rare ores to take back to the ship and use as upgrades. There is also an in-match currency called red sugar that you can use to call in supplies. Which brings us to the Left 4 Dead aspect. The enemies and most of the missions behave like an encounter from Left 4 Dead. There are various insectoids spread out to provide minor distractions or blockades to your objectives, but then periodically there'll be a swarm of them, and the best way to deal with them is to stick together and fire an ungodly amount of bullets towards them. But just like the zombies, the insectoids will be drawn to you by completing certain objectives or certain milestones in the mission. This creates plenty of last stand moments that raise the tension to great heights. All that plus all the different types of insectoids that you'll encounter really makes this feel like a little bit of Left 4 Dead, just the right amount of Left 4 Dead, and in just the right amount of ways. Then last but not least is the mix of roguelike elements. and that comes in the form of the missions and the levels. Each time you ride your shuttle into the depths of a new mission, everything is procedurally generated. Where the objective is located, items of interest, side objectives, enemies, when the swarms may come, the minerals you can mine all over, and so on. You can control the type of biome that you could go to, just like you can control a level of Left 4 Dead by selecting a range of regions on the map. But even that is also randomized. You go into your mission, you do your thing, and you take what you can from the mission back to get more upgrades, more weapons, and you can bring this all onto the next mission. These three main pillars of the gameplay are molded together so well that the game loop is addicting and also unpredictable when it needs to be. But it also leaves plenty of room for exploring and discovering in the mines. Then there are the dwarves themselves, which come in variety. You have the engineer. He has a shotgun, a grenade launcher as weapons, with a platform gun to make platforms to jump on, but also you can block entrances with, and a deployable sentry for those last stands. His grenade is a decoy to draw attention away or to bundle up a swarm together for you and your team or your sentry gun to take out. The driller has a flamethrower and a semi-auto pistol for weapons and a giant dual-fisted drill gauntlets for his tools. He has satchel charges for making a big-ass hole, and his grenade is an impact axe because, of course, one of the dwarves had to have an axe. It delivers an electric shock and it is retrievable. The gunner carries a big-ass minigun and a magnum for his weapons, with his tools being a bubble shield and a zipline shooter, both of these to help out the whole team. His grenade being of the sticky kind. The scout carries an assault rifle and a double barrel shotgun, his tools being the aforementioned flare gun that sticks a light source to pretty much anything, and a grappling gun to propel himself to unreachable areas, with his grenade being an IFG, or circle of dots that slow down whatever goes inside. And no, it doesn't stand for igloo fucking good. Keep in mind, these are just what you start with. There are so many guns to unlock, and also there's been more guns that were added in DLC. The classes work great together and have a perfect synergy. And although certain missions might call for a particular class, like maybe you need a driller, you'll definitely notice a gunner missing when the swarm makes its way all over the walls. Now, of course, people will ask you, but can I play solo? And while the answer is yes, but just like Left 4 Dead with bots, it seriously diminishes the experience. So I definitely prefer to play this with other people, even though it is technically doable by yourself. All right, so that is my thoughts on Deep Rock Galactic. What's my score? I give it it's free, so why the hell not, out of 10. Because hey, it's free, you might as well download it. If any of this sounded intriguing to you, I personally would give it a 10 out of a 10, or maybe an 8 out of a 10, because no game is perfect and it's probably going to have connection issues at the very beginning, just like any other game. But the actual gameplay itself gives you tons of different missions to go on, different varieties, and sometimes you can go on a mission that is all action, sometimes you can go on a mission that is a little bit more thoughtful, and the variety just keeps it really fun. That with all the different difficulty levels and how crazy things can get with the swarm, it's just a really good time with friends or even random people. The community around Deep Rock Galactic is actually very nice and usually very welcoming to new people. So that is my review, my first review of 2022. I would love to know what you think about it, the style and everything. And of course, I would love a subscribe. I would love for you to come back when you have time and check out some of our other stuff as well. We have a lot of things planned, and we've been doing this for a while, so I would love to hear from you guys. All right, so that's it for me, from Nick from Threat X3 Productions, and you have yourself a good day.